Hello, so I've just taken my medication and normally that can leave my mouth feeling numb or my tongue numb and can dry my mouth out and leave me pretty gassy. So I apologise if talking starts to become difficult with me and I start to mumble or what. I don't really mean to. But I just wanted to come on here and sort of talk about how the day has been for me. As I went to see my specialist nurse today at the hospital, it was sort of like a review of how I've been since I last saw the specialist doctor. So if there's any change to my conditions or whatnot, we all discuss it there. And I was pretty nervous to go and see her, as the last time I saw my specialist doctor, he left me feeling pretty bad. I've had trouble with doctors anyways most of my life because of the conditions that I've got. Hypermobility and fibromyalgia don't normally show up in x-rays or blood tests or anything like other conditions may do. So to diagnose the patient with any of those, they have to have more knowledge about it all and stuff like that. And the doctors that I had when I was younger didn't have that much knowledge about it, as it's recently started to become more known about. So growing up was pretty difficult, as I had these pains. I'd go to the doctors and they would just say it was growing pains. And I just couldn't get my head around that. They would always say it's growing pains. They wouldn't say it was anything else. They would do blood tests to make sure, but they would come back clean. So they would just say it was growing pains. We would say to the doctors about my fingers being the way they are, yeah, that's growing pains. That's all they would say to me. So I started to lose hope with doctors, and I would always get nervous to go to the doctors, and I still do. But when I was 18, that's when things started to change. That's when these conditions started to be like getting their voice out and all that, and people learning more about them, and that's when I got diagnosed. And it is still pretty difficult because there are some people who will not believe that these things are real, that it's all in our heads and things like that. And this specialist, he just made me feel really crap. He tried to say that there was nothing wrong with me anymore because he did one test around my wrists, nowhere else on my body, and that was him determined that I've no longer got anything wrong with me, which is totally bollocks. I also showed him a photo of my knees because of what was happening. They were starting to go red at night, red, swollen, and heat coming out, and sometimes they would go pins and needles. I would tell him that, and he laughed a little bit, and he just made me feel like shit. And when I got home, I was in a state. I got to the point where I was so low, I was thinking about leaving. Just because I had enough. There is a point where you just feel like giving up because you get exhausted. You do, and a lot of people don't realise how tiring this can be, because you look fine. You don't look like there's something wrong with you. So you must be fine. It must be in your head. But they don't realise what the pain is actually like. It's digging at you. It's always there. It never ends. And it does get to you, and it gets into your mind as well, and you just... There are days where you just give up, and all you can think about is giving up. But luckily enough, I had my partner, my parents around, and I went to my local GP, and she helped me. They've been keeping an eye on me, and I'm starting to come back again. But this can be a normal thing, and I've just got to realise that I have to keep fighting. I can have days like that. It's okay to talk to someone about it. And sorry if I seem a little bit shaky. It has just been one of those days, really. And this is what I told her. I just broke down in front of her, telling her how I felt about him. Luckily enough, she was really kind and considerate and helped me through it. And now I'm going to be trying to see another specialist, someone that she really recommends. So I'm pleased about it, but at the same time I'm really nervous, because it's, again, I have to meet another specialist, another doctor, and explain everything and go back to the start with everything all over again. And yeah, it's just one of those days, really, and I just wanted to come on here and share it and try to just get it out of my system, I guess. I hate feeling like this as well. I hate feeling down all the time. But it happens. I forgot what else I was going to say. She was really considerate as well, and she gave me a leaflet about fibromyalgia, and I've quickly read through it, and it does have some helpful things like exercise to do with fibromyalgia, what you can do and should try maybe staying away from, and what areas are probably the best. So I'm going to be looking more into that, because that will be really helpful for me to try to figure out what kind of exercises I should be doing more of, because that is the trouble that I find, is exercise DVDs and games are really hard going. They don't really have those games for people with any mobility disabilities, or limited to the mobility, and I know certain DVDs do have that, but it's not always the kind that you want, if that makes sense. So that's gonna come in use. Also, my printer is broke. Completely different from what I've been talking about, but I've been trying to print off some of the wedding planning things so I can write down and put it in the journal and whatnot. The computer's broke, the printer has broke, the ink has dried up, and you can't, when you change the ink over, it doesn't recognise it, and it's completely bust. So my partner is going to have to try and look at that. He wants to try and see if he can fix it before we go and get a new one, but just my luck. When I want to do something positive and to get my mind away, something like that happens. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and talk about that, just, you know, because I don't really have anyone else to talk to apart from my partner and my family. But there's times when I don't really want to talk to them about that because I don't want to put that burden onto them as much. I know that's what they want from me, but you know, you just, I don't know. I'm probably just talking in riddles now, as it is. My partner shouting. He's playing games. If you can hear him shouting, it's him playing a video game. It's 11 o'clock at night, so I'm gonna shut up now because I am starting to go on. But yeah, bye.